Hey, fourth grade. Today's project, Civil Rights Project Day 3. What important civil rights were going on during this time in Alabama? That's one question. Second question, what important civil rights events took place elsewhere but had a big impact in Alabama? So I've got my notes ready. I've already got my notes written down just to save time because of the program that I'm using to record. I only get 5 minutes. So what I did was I went here and I typed in civil rights timeline, and it pulled up this timeline for me. I've already got it open just to save time because it takes a long time for it to load. And maybe it's not going to work now. So I pulled up the timeline and I looked at 1961, looking for 1961. It's being slow. Okay. So the Freedom Riders protest by riding buses into the segregated southern states challenging their Jim Crow laws. This was unique in that it was happening in other parts. They left Washington, D.C., so it was happening in other parts of the country, and we were affected because it happened in Alabama too. Because what happened was when the Freedom Riders came down, segregation was now illegal. And so the Freedom Riders were protesting the Deep South states, where like Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida. They were protesting those states because some people in the South were still not allowing segregation. We're still not allowing desegregation, especially on the buses. So when the buses, that was the problem they were having. So when the buses would go from state to state, the states who were against segregation were protesting, and that happened in Anniston, Alabama. There was a big protest in Anniston, Alabama, where some of the Freedom Riders were beaten. Now, keep in mind that the Freedom Riders were not only African Americans; there were some white protesters too. All right. So, and then from there, I went to. I was trying to show you how I didn't find what I needed on some websites, and on some websites I did. I hope I don't run out of time. Okay, so here. Okay, so from here, what I did was I looked for civil rights events in Alabama, and I wound up finding what I needed on, and show you I'm going to go ahead and show you my research, the answer that I got. It's being slow. Do y'all do that when your computer's slow too? Okay, so this is what I found, and I'll show you the websites that I got the information from. Remember, you have to document your source. That means you got to tell me, where did you get your information from? Because if you don't, that's plagiarism. You got to give the person credit that wrote it. Day 3, what important civil rights were going on during this time? What important civil rights events took place elsewhere but had a big impact on Alabama? So, events in Alabama. There were 6 African American and 6 white protesters left Washington, D.C. for the South. They were traveling in protest of the South not abiding by desegregation laws. They were attacked in Anniston, Alabama by an angry mob. Also, in other parts of the country, in other areas that affected other areas of the country, but did directly affect Alabama. May 29, 1961, Kennedy announces that he has ordered the Interstate Commerce Commission to enact stricter regulations and fines for buses and facilities that refuse to integrate. Young white and black activists continue to make freedom rides. So that's happening in our state and in all across the country. Also, one thing I wanted to notice that doesn't have anything to do with the Freedom Riders or civil rights, but May 1st, Harper Lee of Monroeville, Alabama, won the Pulitzer Prize for To Kill a Mockingbird. Thought that was so cool. I had to share that with y'all.